Five Guys fans are serious about their love. They must be serving up some epic burgers then, right? If you're curious about just what's on the plate at Five Guys, here are some things you should know before you head there.
Five Guys' founding father, Jerry Morrell, hails from a middle-class Michigan family, which encouraged him to go to college. He didn't enjoy his own educational experience much, though, so when it came time to send his sons to college, he gave them a choice. The money he'd saved for their education was theirs, and they could either each go to college or, as a family, decide to pool the money to start a restaurant. Not only would it give his kids a legacy, but it would let them work together, and their limited menu concept was a sweeping success.
We stuck to our guns, kept it simple, and the press liked this.
The name Five Guys couldn't be more straightforward. Morrell and his sons decided on the name to describe themselves. Father Jerry, sons Matt, Jim, and Chad from his first marriage, and son Ben from his second. But when youngest son Tyler was born, the name didn't quite fit anymore, so he unofficially removed himself from the name roster so that the Five Guys he refers to are his kids. Five Guys opened its doors in 1986, and it's only continued to grow ever since. The chain saw an almost unthinkable 792% growth between 2006 and 2012, but that global expansion almost didn't happen. At first, the Morrells, especially Jerry, were content with opening just a few restaurants in the same area. They had complete control, kept the menu the same, and experimented with very few new things. But Matt bought a copy of Franchising for Dummies, written by Wendy's Dave Thomas. And at the same time, former Washington Redskins kicker Mark Mosley was pondering the future of his own burger joint. In a case of right place, right time, Mosley got on board with Five Guys and kicked off their franchising efforts. They found out quickly how right of a decision it was when franchising rights in Virginia sold out in 3 days, and the rest is fast food history. There are a ton of things to keep track of in any kitchen, but take a close look at any Five Guys kitchen and you'll notice there's something missing: timers. Jerry Morrell says they're not necessary because good cooks know when a burger is done. Those burgers are thin for a reason too, and that dates back to the early days of Five Guys. The first burgers they experimented with were thicker, but they dried out too fast. So thinner burgers gave them the taste and texture they were looking for, and patrons seemed to enjoy the choice. Getting a phone call from the U.S. government might ordinarily throw a restaurant into a tailspin, but when Five Guys was asked for 15 burgers to be delivered to the Pentagon, Morrell refused. He told QSR, "We've never had a delivery service. We don't believe in it. We think it cheapens the product." Not only did they refuse, but they hung a massive banner outside their Arlington store that read, "Absolutely no delivery."
Putting a sign in your window that says we deliver is a sign that you're probably maybe in trouble.
The move was risky since the Pentagon's 26,000 employees were a huge part of the location's customer base, but it worked. Business reportedly went up about 20%, and even Barack Obama stopped by in 2009, after they also refused to offer any delivery service to the White House because some foods are worth trekking out for. Five Guys gets their potatoes almost exclusively from Idaho, and only north of the 42nd parallel to boot.
Those potatoes grow slower than a potato from the south, which makes them denser.
They buy so many of them, they account for 5% of the entire state's potato sales. 2 months of the year, however, the growing season dictates they switch to Washington state potatoes. And the reason their fries are so tasty goes well beyond source consistency. After hand cutting them, Five Guys fry crew members give the raw potatoes a 3-minute power wash to get rid of the extra starch. And they're pre-cooked for 2.5 minutes before being cooled for anywhere from 10 minutes to a few hours. Once they're ordered, they're finished off with another 2 to 3 minutes in the fryer, shaken off exactly 15 times, and served up to the customers. There's a lot about the way Five Guys does business that's unconventional, and that includes their approach to getting the word out. According to Bestmark, the reason you've never seen a Five Guys commercial or billboard is that they use that cash to hire mystery shoppers to visit their restaurants and do a full evaluation. This keeps employees on their toes, ensures their customers have a great experience, and those experiences turn into word-of-mouth advertising. Anyone who's worked in retail knows just how terrifying the prospect of a mystery shopper is. But Five Guys turns it into a major rewards program. Director of Communications and Marketing Molly Catalano told QSR Magazine they hand out a huge amount of money as bonuses for meeting mystery shopper goals. Every week, the top 200 restaurants are each given between $900 and $1,300 to split among employees, which means there's a chance they can win a bonus every single week. That's quite an incentive to hustle. So, if your local Five Guys crew seem to keep some serious pep in their steps during your next visit, it might be because they suspect you're a shopper spy that might earn them some extra cash.
If there are any complaints ever made about Five Guys, it's usually the condition of the buns. They're a bit on the squishy side, and that's by design. The buns originally came from Brenner's, an Alexandria bakery that was a favorite of the Morel family, who founded the restaurant chain. On request, the rolls were eggier and sweeter than the standard hamburger bun. When the bakery closed, Five Guys started making their own buns. As they grew, there was no way they could keep making the same sweet buns in their little bakery. So they started contracting out under some super specific regulations now overseen by Morel's youngest son, Tyler. To those that love them, they totally help make their burgers super special. No one in their right mind suggests heading to Five Guys if you're looking for a healthy lunch option. According to their nutritional information, their bun alone is a whopping 260 calories and 9 grams of fat. Have no fear, there are a few healthier options that'll still give you your burger fix, like their veggie sandwich. It's not a veggie burger, but it's their vegetable toppings served on a bun. You can also order a bunless little hamburger. Skip the mayo and bacon, but stack on some of their other toppings like tomatoes, onions, lettuce, and jalapeno peppers, and you'll get your Five Guys fix with far less carb guilt. You probably know someone with a peanut allergy, and it can be deadly. According to the Peanut Institute, around 4% of people have severe food allergies, and tree nuts, including peanuts, account for about 90% of those allergies.
If I ate a peanut, I could die.
Wow. Cases have steadily risen since at least 1997, making it surprising that not only does Five Guys continue to offer guests peanuts to snack on while they wait, but they exclusively use peanut oil. That goes for everything, especially frying up all those crispy, hand-cut fries. Five Guys says they have no intention of changing any of their practices, as it would negatively impact the brand they've been building for several decades. Instead, they say they make sure there are plenty of signs posted, warning people who have a problem with peanuts to stay away. They also say the potential for an allergic reaction is why they don't allow peanuts outside. According to Five Guys, there are more than 250,000 ways to order your burger. That sounds like something the marketing department made up as a boast. But if you do the math, there are actually more than that. But 250,000 is such a nice-sounding number, we'd stick with that too. With 6 options for burgers, including different sizes, with or without cheese, and a whole host of toppings, it's a paradise for someone who loves options and a challenge for the completist. If you head to, say, McDonald's, you know how much you're going to spend on your usual before you get there. That's not the case with Five Guys, and Morel is pretty straightforward about the fact that the prices of their burgers can and will change. It all comes down to fluctuations in the market value of ingredients and a dedication to maintaining quality. That outlook started when tomato prices skyrocketed after hurricanes severely damaged that year's crop, and some of his franchises wanted to stop using them. Morel even suggested cutting back, but his son said they'd rather raise the price than compromise on quality. Pricing according to the market is great from a business point of view, but it's not always popular with customers. When Belfast, Ireland got its first Five Guys, the guest reaction was that it was a decent burger, but it shouldn't be priced several dollars more than the same burger in America. But some of their American customers have been voicing similar thoughts and claiming they're just too expensive. Millennials in particular have been quoted as saying their burgers just weren't worth the price. But value is in the eye of the beholder. To their fans, they're absolutely worth it.